Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And in the wake of the second major at Minnesota, the OpTic guys have made their frustrations very clear on the CDL formatting for these events, saying the CDL should stop putting them last and first to suit their own agenda. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. Plenty to dive into today. First of all, I wanted to mention this real quick because I thought it was great. We saw Doug Sintomartin a couple of days ago having a good time on the ranked play leaderboards. Happy that this guy, the second place guy, got kicked off for cheating, so we can get up one more spot. He reckoned to formally was going to get number 7 on the ladder, because throwing back to the good old, I guess 7 days, right, when Formula had a good time with Doug. Back in Modern Warfare on a series of 8, but yeah, Doug Sintomartin officially now number 7 on the right play leaderboard, so he's making the progress, like he's leaning into the me, which is cool, that even Formal comes back and replies, good work, Doug, but like, he's got a fair way to go to get all the way up the ladder. He's looking for that number 1 spot, but it's going to be difficult for this chain guy. He's way above the rest, maybe because I think some people said that he was kind of teaming with the guy who ended up getting caught cheating, who was number 2, so kind of classic stuff to be honest. Wanted to mention this actually as well because seemingly some new spawn updates have been coming into play. So there was some sort of experimental playlist where they're kind of, playing around with the spawns, and apparently this is also live now in the ranked play, so whether these are good or bad, right, who knows, because often they'll change the spawns, and whether they actually get better is another question, because we saw they did some spawn tweaks a little bit ago, and then if anything they made the spawns worse on that Tuscan P3 hardpoint, even though in other situations they might be somewhat better, so who knows. It's obviously kind of tricky in Control, for example, with the way some of these spawns work. They're trying their best to improve the spawn system, which I guess we got to appreciate. There was also this, though, that was noticed by GodRX a couple of days ago, that kill cams are now disabled in the CDL side. I believe what's going on here, apparently, is when the kill cams are enabled now, there's a bit of a glitch where the respawn delay is just non-existent, right? Like, if you watch the kill cam a little bit and then just immediately skip it, and then you just spawn in without the respawn delay. I think there's some sort of issue with that, so therefore kill cams are having to be disabled right now, and still, it is an interesting point, because there has been some people that have said, should kill cams actually be in competitive at all? In Counter-Strike, for example, if you die to someone, you don't get to see their perspective, because from their point of view, you might see, the teammate with the bomb, or you might see something else you shouldn't be able to see. And that's always been a crucial thing in Call of Duty, right? If you're skipping kill cams in Search and Destroy, you're doing it very wrong, right? You can gain some valuable information by watching the kill cam, watching their point of view. Where did they go after the fact? Did they see a teammate, right? They can give you some information. Can you see where the bomb was on the map based on their perspective? Like all these type of things. And maybe that information shouldn't be free. Like maybe you shouldn't just gain that information by dying. There is kind of a school of thought that says kill cam should be off in Call of Duty anyway, but well, seemingly that's the case. Of course, in respawns, it's a good thing, I guess, because you can have kind of the skill gap in that watching your kill cam to make sure that by the time you do spawn up, you spawn in a location that's anchored to the new spawns. That's always been a good thing in Call of Duty as well. So there's definitely a give or take on this one. Maybe just disable them in Search and Destroy could be a way to improve competitive integrity more, as long as there's no other issues that deal with that, because of course it's Call of Duty Vanguard and something always is on the horizon. This also real quick from European challenges. A lot of Drostermania drama going on down here actually. So Sucre has replaced Journey on the Rokkr Academy. Real Lucky and Metals, right, that team that was dominating the early parts of the European scene. Sucre, another Spanish player, comes in for Journey. Now they've effectively swapped teams, and Journey's gone to the Yaka, Eric Boom and Super kind of other Spanish lineup. This also Watson, right, kind of an OG European player. He came back this season to some pretty great success. He's now stepping away though, and Aroma has taken his place. So as he says, good luck to these men. Too much instability in the challenger scene for me to continue competing at the moment. I'll be back maybe just for streaming for the future. So difficult time for some of these guys that had a good start to the year, but if you don't qualify for the Pro-Am, that effectively is just your season chalk. So wishing the best for everyone involved in this one, but let's talk about the OpTic stuff. So of course they're excited for Major 3. We talked yesterday the fact that it's in Canada, right? They've got a fair, Canadian, I guess, heritage, right, in Dashi, Illy, Rambo, Karma, for example, as well. 3-time world champion. One of those in 2017, of course, came under OpTic Gaming. But yeah, there was plenty of talk really about the way the format is actually done for these majors, and Hicks was kind of revealing that he's not been happy about this for quite some time, and there was a few kind of complaints he had really with the major. And also Hicks was talking about the fact that Illy, having kind of seen the other side of it before, when let's say he's been on the Dallas Empire the last couple of years and has to deal with the Huntsman and the OpTic guys having these difficult schedules, because it's better for overall viewership numbers, right? The CDL wants to maximize live viewership and of course total average viewership over the games so that they can sell that to sponsors, this type of stuff. The best way to do that is to make sure that OpTic play last in theory, so you keep all those viewers for the entirety of the day, and ideally you have them play first and then last so the viewers stick around. If you can have them play 2 games in a day, you want them to be right at the start and right at the end is probably the ideal way to do it. Now this seems to be how the CDL have designed their schedules the last couple of years, but what this means is it's pretty difficult for the OpTic guys, right, because they might play first, have like all these hours to burn and to waste and to have no idea. It must be pretty frustrating when like you think you might be able to just about to play right now and then the series all of a sudden is 2-0, then it gets reverse swept and like you're sitting there there trying to warm up. Like, it's probably better to have a shorter break there. And it can't be great for the OpTic guys having to, get up early, I guess, for some of the games and have to wait, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, whatever, to play their last game of the day, which might put them at some degree of a disadvantage. Well, I'll share what Hex had to say on this, right? And he says that Illy was also kind of frustrated about the way this scheduling was working and say, look, the CDL and MLG, whoever's involved in this, I guess Esports Engine nowadays, should actually make this more fair as opposed to just promoting their own agenda.
In the same, and I have a bone to pick with the league, and it might be Esports Engine. Adam Apicella, my brother. Bro, they did what they did in the MLG days, where the OpTic opens and OpTic closes. Who cares if they sit around for 8 hours?
They're given that.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, not no more. Right? Because like some teams would play a match and then have one off and then play the next one. We play one match, sat 2, and then played the next one.
It's just no other way to do it though, or else the viewers are just going to be so.
Yeah, but that's
just the truth.
Yeah, but from a competitive from a competitive integrity standpoint, that's not fair to the players.
It's not fair to the players. It wasn't fair to me when I played. Illy
literally looked at me. He's like, "This is the ace part about being an OpTic." He's like, I love it being here, but this is so unfair.
It's really unfair.
I'm like, yeah, and look what we built with this unfairness. We had everything stacked against us.
It's true. We're playing at 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. every event. Like what?
Yeah.
That work.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the other team schedules. They're playing at 10 a.m. as well and ending at 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just warm up again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is so AIDS.
No, it's like a full day. Yeah, it's
and
just
the team that we play at 10 p.m. started their day at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
You know
so from here on out,
I'm like, this is so unfair.
I better get the schedule ahead of time, or my players aren't going on stage. We're gonna get a fine.
Talk to him. Talk to him.
You know what I mean? So, all right. So aside from that, Illy was like, yo, this is the one thing that sucks about being an OpTic is that this is what they do. And I'm like, yeah, but you were happy with it when it wasn't on y'all, right? But the other thing is, I was saying the rooms that we were in, the pro player lounge was separated by curtains, right? So whatever strategy. Talking like anybody else can hear.
Really?
So we constantly had to be like we had Joey and Paige and everybody back there, Roger and Maddie, like looking to see like who's where. So we had London to our left, LAG behind us, and then somebody else like on this one, and it was just like there was no privacy, right? Like there was like literally no privacy.
Wait, I saw a tweet from Spart that said that OpTic taught him how to play the game. I wonder if he was also talking about some strats that he heard, and he was like, wait, we should do it like that.
Oh no, the other thing is like people on the other side of the wall could hear us. So there was 4 teams here and 4 teams on the other side.
So I wanted to look real quick at some of the examples from this weekend. This was one of the examples here on the Saturday, even though I'm pretty sure this is nothing to do with kind of the scheduling for these reasons. Certainly Friday and Thursday could well be, but as you can see right here, they played Thieves first up, then they played Florida in the end, it was, right at the end. And you can see this is many hours later. This, I'm pretty sure, is just how the format works on the Saturday. The elimination round 2 is going to be first. They didn't play last game on the Friday, therefore they play first game here, then it's 2 winners matches, then it's kind of the next losers bracket match. But you can see a fair bit of break here from what OpTic had to play between these couple of series. Florida had a slightly less of a break, right? But of course, that's just kind of the way the format goes. You look at the Friday, though, slightly different story, right? Because out of all of these games, it's very traditionally, the last one is the OpTic versus Rokkr game. And it's also kind of frustrating for us over here in the UK. Like, usually the OpTic game is going to be one of the biggest storylines of the day. It's nice when that's a little bit earlier, so maybe we can get to bed a bit earlier here in the UK, right? But if we have to stay all the way up, it's a little bit challenging. And of course, in mainland Europe, it's even worse as well with the extra hour or 2. But you can see again here that OpTic get up early, they get to the venue, all this type of stuff, all the other teams play, and OpTic have to sit around there waiting all day effectively. And it must also be kind of difficult to get good practice in, just because some of the other teams they've already played, they want to head off for the day, right, and have dinner or talk about things with the team. Like, I'm sure OpTic can get some practice, but it's never ideal, I guess, to be playing last all the time. And this was the case on Friday. This is also the case on Thursday, right? This is the one really to me on Thursday. Like, they don't have to schedule it like this, but they always do, because they want OpTic versus whoever to be the last game of the day, so people tune in and people don't tune out after the OpTic game. Like, it makes sense from their point of view. At the same time, is it to some degree detrimental to OpTic? And also, like, is it better to play earlier on in the day? And it's maybe not great to have all the massive gaps between some of the games that can happen. Like, if OpTic are playing first and they're playing like 4th, 5th game of the day, that gets pretty challenging for them, right? But it's probably how the CDL would decide to do it if the opportunity arises, because they basically call the shots on where the games are played. And maybe they want want to maximize viewership from their perspective. That makes sense. At the same time, the OpTic guys clearly aren't particularly happy about it, right? And want the MLG and the CWL guys to actually take a more kind of fair and maybe unbiased approach on this so that they don't get put at any sort of disadvantage. How big of a deal do you guys think this is? Do you think this is a real game changer, real game breaker? But it's kind of been the thing for years, right? Nex has been talking about this for quite some time, which it didn't really affect them, I guess, at stage 1, but still, it's something that is obviously a consideration, and Illy seems to think, especially where he was last year on the Dallas Empire, not really experiencing all that much of this. Now this year it's kind of very noticeable for him. They always seem to be playing the last game, and if anything, are the least warmed up out of all the teams as a result of that. The other thing that Hex was talking about, right, were these practice rooms behind the scenes. This was kind of a video right here real quick from the Arlington event in Texas, where the OpTic guys have their own room. We saw Rambo talking about this, right, that pretty much at the Arlington event, every single team had their own room of, they could play scrims and stuff against the other teams, but also they could practice and prepare against all the other teams without having to be quiet or whatever, or kind of, keep hush-hush on what they want to talk about, because they're in their own private practice room. Now, of course, at the venue they had in Minnesota, that was not the case. They did not have enough rooms to make that work. I believe they basically had 3 rooms. They would separate them by curtains. So, if you're the OpTic guys, you're going to be able to hear what the other people are saying. I think they said London, Los Angeles, Guerrillas, and I think it was Paris, maybe the other team that was in their room. And still, they've finished a game. They want to talk about their mistakes, and the other teams are sitting there on the other side of the curtain, listening in and taking down notes as to what OpTic thought they messed up and what they might need to do differently and stuff like this, which is obviously pretty frustrating. Usually the way this would be done, I think in previous events, is they're just going to go outside and discuss it in the parking lot, stuff like this, because it's never really been a thing that teams have had their own rooms, apart from the event in Arlington, which obviously the venue they have there is pretty spectacular for this type of stuff. Not obviously capable in Minnesota. I don't know whether the other venues they have going forward will also have this capability, but still a bit of a frustration for the OpTic guys that in addition to the scheduling frustrations, they also had to deal with the fact that the whole preparation wasn't as ideal as it could have been either, right? So that's the thing, how much of a difference did it make? I guess every team on this front is in a similar boat, but whether the CDL will take some of this criticism on board from the OpTic guys, I guess remains to be seen. This also, just as we finish out the video here, Dashy's been back on the stream grind, right? A lot of teams and players have taken a fair few days off. Pretty much most players and teams, I think, took about a week off practice after the major, and now we're going to get back into things over the coming weeks ahead of the Pro-Am, and then straight into the Major 3 qualifiers, all that type of good stuff. Dashy was killing it here on the right play side, but I did want to ask this question as well, actually, because the top 3 sniper players in Call of Duty history got raised by the Call of Duty League. Quite an interesting one, right? Because you can look at this either from, a competitive perspective, or you can look at it from a more casual perspective, kind of like public match snipers, likes of Grizz. You can look at, Sprats, Pomage, or you can even look at trick shotters, right, I suppose, in a similar vein. But if we're looking from a competitive sniper perspective, I think Nameless's list is good. The couple that I might add in here, Octane is maybe just on the fringes of discussion. I think certainly John, I would at least have as an honourable mention on this list. I think also Pharaoh, rest in peace. He was phenomenal with the sniper. We didn't get to see him for too many years, but his sniper shot was disgusting in World War II. I think he was one of the best. And John was up there as well in that game. But there's a few other names here that Nameless points out which are pretty good. Formal, I think probably number 1 is fair enough. Study number 2 actually is maybe a bit of a friendship league in that discussion here from Nameless. But in fairness, I think Study's got to be right up there. If you guys haven't been around too many years, Study is one of the greatest sniper players. There's no doubt. His shot back in the day was ridiculous. Of course, doesn't have the crazy longest career as some of the other guys do, and maybe guys like Brandon Dashy should be further up, which I think is probably fair enough. Longevity, of course, is important on a list like this, but even Formal says he reckons that Dashy should be number 2. Clay number 3. I always feel like Clay's a kind of funny one, because back in the day he used to be very good with the sniper, but in more recent times, whenever he's pulled it out, it doesn't really seem to go too well. So to me, I might drop him off a little bit. Nagafen also is on the list, as Nameless said, which I think is a pretty good shout. Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, most certainly Infinite Warfare as well. Nagafen, a player that's maybe slightly underappreciated, given he's pretty much disappeared off the scene the last couple of years. And Simp as well, you've got to have there or thereabouts. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Just wanted to finish out with this as well from Donny Temp, because I can't believe this guy's actually real sometimes. But yeah, fools run over my internet wire with a lawnmower. Can't make this stuff up. Apparently, it's all fixed and good now. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. Tell us the YouTube god. This is a good video. I don't like you should see it as well. And I grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you next time.